Alright, welcome back. Today our notes are going to be on page 21. It's going to be parallel and perpendicular lines. Alright. Today's date is 10/4. Page 19, I believe we're on. Page 21. Hey, I messed up my, yeah, page 21. Our objective for today is to construct a perpendicular line to a line segment through a given point, and to construct a parallel line and explain why the construction is true. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to construct a perpendicular line. Now, we've constructed a perpendicular bisector, but we have yet to construct an actual perpendicular line. Okay? So, if you have red, put this in red. If not, I'm going to put it in purple. How to construct a perpendicular line through a point on the line. Alright, so let's start by taking our straight edge and drawing any line segment. And leave some space between this statement up here and this. Okay, and we're going to put point C somewhere on the line. Do not put it on the middle. You can put it anywhere, but not in the middle. Okay, so we're going to make a perpendicular line through point C. Okay, that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to start, make a circle around C. Okay, so I'm going to start by making a circle around C. So I'm going to make my compass a little bit smaller than it currently is. Okay, and I'm going to make my circle small enough so that it's going to touch the line segment on both sides. So here's a good width because it'll cross on this side. And it'll cross on that side. Okay? So I've made my arc. Okay? I'm going to mark these 2 points as D and E. So I made a circle around C, and I marked the intersection with the line segment as D and E. So now I have this line segment DE, and I know that C is the center of this line segment because I know that all radii of circles are equal. So CE is equal to DE, or excuse me, CD, because both are radii for the circle I constructed around C. So now I'm going to construct a perpendicular bisector to DE. So I'm going to follow the same steps that I did before for a perpendicular bisector. I'm just going to do it for DE. So I'm going to open my compass to more than half of the line segment. I'll make 2 arcs centered at D and E with the same radius. And then I'll use my straight edge to make that perpendicular line. There we go. Okay. So essentially what I did is I made a second line segment on AB that C was the center of, and I did that by constructing a circle, and then I've made the perpendicular bisector of that segment, which is pretty neat. Okay, so let's say we were going to construct a perpendicular line through a point not on the line. Okay, so I'm going to start again by drawing a line segment and leaving some space in between that purple writing and my line segment. Okay, and I want to make a line through C again. So I'm going to start again by making a circle centered at C. And I want to make this circle the right size so that it touches my line segment in 2 places. So, will this touch in 2 places? No, I gotta make it a little bit smaller. Alright. So I'm gonna make a circle centered at C. I want to make it the right size so that it touches my line segment in 2 places. There we go. See that? Okay. So, again, 1, make a circle centered at C. And I'm going to mark the intersection with AB as D and E. Phew, excuse me. Okay? Now, again, I know that C is equidistant from D and E because I found D and E by using the same radius, same length. Oh, I must be allergic to perpendicular lines. Holy moly. Okay, so now I have this new line segment DE, and I'm going to do exactly what I did before. Construct a perpendicular bisector through DE. And I know that C is going to be on that perpendicular bisector because I know that all points on the perpendicular bisector are equidistant from the endpoints of a segment. So I'm going to bisect DE, and I know that C will be on there because C is equidistant from D and E. So I'm going to make another perpendicular bisector. Okay. And it can be, your arc can be any length as long as it's more than half the distance between D and E. I'm happening just not to change the length of my compass, so this is going through C. And you don't have to make it go through C. Okay, so now I'm going to make that perpendicular bisector. I just threw my compass on the floor. That's good. I think all the signs are pointing to being done soon with this. All right, there we go. So now there's my perpendicular line through C to AB. All right, last thing we need to do is we need to make a parallel line. So I'm going to make a parallel line to AB. So I'm going to start by making a line segment, or a line here. And I want this to go through C. I'll put C like right here. There's C. Okay? So, here's my first step. Step one. Draw a transversal through C. So I'm going to take my handy dandy straight edge and I'm going to draw a transversal that goes through C and AB. I'm going to mark this where it intersects as D. Okay? Now, here's the really neat part. This is where we do something that we learned about in our last notes. We are going to copy angle CDA onto ray DC so that its vertex is at C. So I'm going to copy this angle right here onto this up here. So in copying an angle, my first step is to draw an arc centered at D. And then I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. And maybe a little bit bigger than that. Somewhere in between. Happy medium here. So I'm going to copy that arc right up here onto C. Okay. Done. Next, I'm going to take this little measure right here and measure it out with my compass. And make sure I get that on there exactly. And it's not quite exact. Let's see here. It's a little bit bigger than that. It'll take me a minute here to get it just right. It's like the three little bears. Not too big, not too small, but just right. I guess the story there is not the three little bears. I guess it's Goldilocks, right? Goldilocks was looking for what was just right. The little bears just did what they did. Well, I guess when the bears was big, Papa Bear I would assume was big. All right, so I measured from these two intersections with my compass, and then I'm going to make the same arc with the intersection of this arc and the transversal. And I'm going to do it on the bottom side of the arc that I made before, because I want it to line up with C. Because C is where I want to put my parallel line. So now, call that point D, I'm going to make line CD, and if I did this right, it should be pretty close to parallel. It's a little bit off there, isn't it? Pretty close to parallel with my original line. So there we go. So that's how you construct a parallel line. Now, there is a geometric reasoning for this, and we're going to be talking about it tomorrow in class, but think about what is the relationship between these two angles. If since they're copied, they have to be congruent, and if they're congruent in this type of angle, we know these two lines are parallel. So we'll be talking about that more in class tomorrow. Thank you. Have a nice day.